Pioneer fans, Pioneer men's varsity basketball is live and on the air. Pioneer fans, we are live here at the main gym on the campus of Pioneer High School, where it is your Pioneers taking on the Skyline Eagles as the freshman team played and won. Pioneer freshman team won 53-46. The Pioneer JV team won 56-36, a 20-point win for the JV squad. Of course, Skyline varsity squad has other designs on this game. Skyline is 8-7 on the season. They had a win versus Green Hills starting off the season in Ypsilanti Community. Saline beat them. Then Pioneer beat them earlier. That was 54-45 back on December 14th. So a 9-point win by Pioneer there. They beat Plymouth, our Ypsi Arbor Prep, and Temperance Bedford. They lost to Detroit University Prep Art and Design. Then they beat Temperance Bedford again. They had a two-game losing streak, the 19th and 26th of last month. Huron beat them, and Lincoln beat them. But then they came back and had a two-game win streak on the 27th, beating Dearborn Heights Robichaud. That was 40-38, and beating Dexter 68-53. On the 30th, Saline beat them 57-52, and then they lost to Hamtramck. That was to start the season, November 28th, 57-43. Pioneer is 10-3 on the season. They have wins versus Northville, Salem, Temperance Bedford, Skyline, Howell, Macomb, Dakota, and Ypsilanti Lincoln. So they started off 7 wins in a row. They fell 62-50 to Ypsilanti Lincoln back on the 9th. Then they beat Huron by a score of 61-55. First time Pioneer has beat Huron, I think, in a good long time. I think it was 5 years, but don't quote me on that. They lost to Saline back on the 19th, 50-43. Pioneer beat Dexter. They beat Monroe, but they lost to Belleville, 51-49. So their three losses are to Ypsilanti Lincoln, to Belleville, and to Saline. Upcoming games, they have this game, and then on the 9th, they are playing against Saline. Saline 12-3, Pioneer 10-3. So that is what we're looking at for those rosters as we are getting ready to go. And taking a look, both teams getting warmed up. Let's play a quick message from the MHSAA, and then we will pop on and talk to Coach Ahrens with his preview of the game.
Here are 5 more good reasons for multi-sport participation. Multi-sport athletes are more coachable. They have higher athletic ceilings. They become better talent in the long run. They have higher sports IQs. Their sports skills transfer, and they are better teammates. Multi-sport participation is cross-training for life. Learn more at the MHSAA website. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics. Here are 5 good reasons for high school multi-sport participation. Fewer overuse injuries, less opportunity for emotional burnout, exposure to different kids and coaches, exposure to different roles, and learning to compete better. Being a multi-sport participant can help a kid become a more well-rounded person. Multi-sport participation is cross-training for life. Learn more at the MHSAA website. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Where can you find good information on all kinds of topics related to the well-being of our student athletes? Check out the health and safety page of the MHSAA website. Learn about multi-sport participation, heat and hydration, cardiovascular resources, as well as insurance benefits available for our students. It's all on the health and safety page of MHSAA.com. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
The love of the game draws us to sports, as players, coaches, spectators, and officials. For officials, it's a way to stay in the game they once played, to feel the thrill of putting on the uniform, stepping out of the playing surface, hustling to make the call, and building the relationships which can only be built in sports. If you still have that love for the game, we always need new officials. Register now at MHSAA.com. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Sportsmanship has never been more important between the lines in athletics and outside those lines in our communities. To listen, to respect, to understand, to practice common decency, to have competition without contentiousness. Sportsmanlike qualities are essential components of life itself. Let's all work together to not only be good sports, but good people. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics. Have we gotten to the point where at some high school game that an official has finally had enough from coaches, players, and adults, pulls off the whistle, and offers it to you? Let's hope not. There's no way you could do a better job. It's on everyone to promote good sportsmanship. So before you blurt something out about that next close call, consider this. Without the officials, nobody wins. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Nearly 2,000 of the state's top student athletes will be recognized for excelling academically and in school activities through the MHSAA's Scholar Athlete Award, underwritten by Farm Bureau Insurance. The applicants will be in the running for a total of 32 $1,000 college scholarships. Application materials are available exclusively online through the MHSAA website. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Health concerns in high school sports go beyond physical injuries. The mental well-being of our young people is a hotter topic than ever before. The Michigan High School Athletic Association website has resources to help adults and students recognize potential problems and deal with them in a positive way. You can learn more about these mental health resources on the Health and Safety page of the MHSAA website. A message from the MHSAA, promoting the value and values of educational athletics. Can you go anywhere and find an endeavor in society where we've come to accept and tolerate an adult, and even kids, treating another adult the way we allow spectators, coaches, and players to treat a high school game official? Can you? No one has the right to abuse game officials. So before you blurt something out about that next close call, consider this. Without the officials, nobody wins. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
We are live here at the main gym on the campus of Pioneer High School, where it is your Pioneer men's varsity basketball team taking on the Skyline Eagles. Crosstown rivalry game for Pioneer. These two teams met earlier in the season. It was Pioneer with the 54-45 win over at Skyline. Pioneer trying to get the big win here. What's coming up next for Pioneer? Well, Pioneer plays Skyline, and then interestingly enough, it gave me a bunch of games that weren't coming up for Pioneer, so that's okay. I'll pull that up a different way really quickly. That's why you always have multiple ways to do things. So we'll go out. If you want any information, you can go to pioneerathletics.net. Pioneerathletics.net. Not .com. You'll end up with the Pioneer Athletics equipment provider. There you can find all your great information about Pioneer sports, including schedules and more. Taking a look here at the varsity basketball. Coming up after this, what is coming up after this? It is... There we go. Saline, that's going to be away on the 9th. So on Friday, Pioneer will be at Saline. That is a 7 p.m. game. That will be on the NFHS network. I believe we'll have the Pioneer women's basketball games here. Then they'll take on Huron at home. That's going to be a big game on the 13th. CTN will be in the house, the cheer squad in the house, and everybody ready to go. So that'll be a huge game on the 13th. As we want to welcome in our wonderful, amazing color commentator, Coach Mike Ahrens. How you doing, Coach?
Doing very good. How you doing, Mark?
Doing well. As we had you running all over the place, talking to everyone and doing a bunch of stuff. So we appreciate all of your hard work. Anything before we get into the starting lineups you want to mention briefly? I think we don't have a lot of time, but
Oh man, been seeing a lot of basketball and good basketball.
Nice.
I tell you, I think I just mentioned to you, I saw the Pistons. We've been down to a couple games this year, and they're improving.
that's good to see. That's very good to see.
I believe it's a building in process. I do have the officials if you want to do those now or later.
They're going to do the national anthem right now, so
Okay.
let's hold off on that. We'll have the national anthem. Ladies and gentlemen, to honor America, the playing of the national anthem. As we are getting ready to go, John should be across the way with the starting lineups in a brief moment. Who are our officials for today's game? If I haven't made you lost that sheet of paper there.
No, we got another veteran crew, Mark. Looks like we got 58 years of total experience.
Wow.
Christian Smith, he has 10 years. Sean Waterman has 30 years. And Les English has 18 years. And they've done a lot of games this season.
Fantastic. Excellent. Well, we appreciate them being here. We can't have the games we love without them, so we are about to get ready with the starting lineups. As first starting off, Silkwood comes out. Is there? Powell, the starter for Pioneer. Brown starting for Skyline. Freisteller comes out for Pioneer. Rademacher comes out for Skyline. Mutinda starting center for Pioneer. Solomon starting for Skyline. Harrison, number 2 for Pioneer, comes out. I think I have it Alcaldi, but we'll see how he pronounces it. Alcadi. And Sampa on the other side for Pioneer. As head coach for Skyline is John Lamar Hamilton. Tim Cohn, and the assistant coach is Rich Marriott for Pioneer. As we just had Coach Ahrens go over the officials, John talking about them the other way. As we're getting ready to go, about tip off, Freisteller gets it back over to Harrison. Harrison over to Sampa. Pioneer starts off the game with the ball over half court. Sampa has it right at the blockades. Comes over on the near side. Sampa on the near wing to Freisteller at the top of the key. Now Mutinda backs in. Mutinda puts it up. That off the rim, bopped and backed over to Harrison. Now Sampa has it. Sampa, top of the key, gets a screen from Mutinda. Sampa for a long two, and he hits it. Sampa starts off the scoring 2-0. Pioneer with the lead. Skyline coming the other direction. As with it, grabbing it over there is Brown. Brown on the near wing. Brown hands it off over to Solomon. Solomon loses the ball, now gets it back over to Brown. Brown calling off signals. Brown, bounce pass underneath, dishes it off on the baseline. That knocked away as trying to get that back was Silkworth, pulling it down up. That off the rim wouldn't go for Pioneer, out of bounds. That will stay Pioneer ball. 7 minutes left to go here in the first. 2-0 Pioneer with the lead. Pioneer to inbound, baseline left. Sampa with it there. A big crowd coming in, always a big crowd between these two teams. Powell for three. That off this side of the rim, pulled down by Brown. Brown heading the other direction. As Skyline has it on the far corner, stolen away by Harrison. Harrison over half court. Harrison on the near wing now. Harrison dribbles to the right. Harrison at the far elbow, dishes it off to Freisteller. Freisteller, top of the key, now on the near wing. Over to Mutinda. There's a foul that's going to be on Silkworth. Silkworth picks up his first foul. It's going to be a battle between Silkworth and Mutinda underneath, it looks like early on. Both strong, tall centers. Sampa to inbound, baseline left. Pioneer with the 2-0 lead. Freisteller hands off to Sampa. Sampa, screen from Mutinda. Now on the far wing. Sampa thought about the three-pointer. To Freisteller, to Mutinda. Up and in. Mutinda with his first points of the game. He has 2, 4-0 Pioneer with the lead. Now coming ahead over half court is Solomon. Solomon on the near wing. Gets it over to Alquati. Now that tipped away, out of bounds. Stays Skyline ball. As Brown will inbound on the near sideline. 6:14 left to go. Brown dishes it all the way back. Stolen away by Sampa. Over to Freisteller. Freisteller up. Finger roll and in. Freisteller with his first points of the game. And Skyline calls the timeout as Pioneer with 6 straight buckets to start off the game. 6-0 Pioneer with 6:06 left to go. What have you seen there early on, Coach?
Exactly. Both coaches mentioned inside play tonight, and they think that's going to be a key factor. Especially Coach Marion wants to protect that paint and knows that Skyline's got some good shooters, and they have to defend.
Indeed. It's been Pioneer at first causing a little bit of chaos on Skyline's offense. 6:06 left to go here in the first. Skyline inbounds as they get it into Rademacher. Now Rademacher brings it over midcourt. Rademacher tosses it over on the near side to Solomon. Solomon back to Rademacher. Gets it into the paint as that put up and in. That basket by Alquati. That's his first points of the game. 6-2 Pioneer with the lead. As into the far corner, Sampa puts it up for Pioneer. And Sampa fills it. He has 4 as it's 8-2 Pioneer with the lead at 5:35 left to go. As Rademacher has it ahead for Skyline. Rademacher moves it on the far sideline for Solomon. Solomon working against Sampa into the paint. Dishes it off. Back over to Brown. Brown at the far elbow. Brown. And into the far corner. Grabbed by Rademacher. Three-pointer. And off the rim. Pulled down. Grabbed and put up by Silkworth. That pulled down by Mutinda. Here comes Sampa for Pioneer. Sampa over half court on the far sideline. That's going to be Solomon watching him into the near corner. Harrison for 3. Harrison hits the three-pointer. And it's Harrison 3 points. Pioneer 11. Skyline 2. Solomon brings it ahead for Skyline on the near sideline. 4:50 left to go. Being watched by Sampa as Solomon comes top of the key. Solomon at the far elbow trying to make his way down the paint. Puts it up high off the glass. Puts it in. Solomon with 2 points, and it's 11-4. Pioneer with the lead. Sampa for Pioneer over to Freisteller on the near wing. Harrison has it. Harrison trying to get it to Mutinda. Stolen away by Brown. Quickly ahead. Grabbing it. Alquati puts it up, and Alquati puts it in. He has 4 points. and it's now 11-6, 5-point lead by Pioneer. As Sampa over half court for Pioneer gets a screen from Freisteller. Sampa working against Solomon, over to Freisteller, now into the near corner for Harrison. Harrison works his way around the arc. Harrison against Rademacher, into the near corner for Freisteller. Freisteller trying to work his way down the baseline, over to Matinda. That blocked away by Brown, and out of bounds. Pioneer ball. Brown getting up with a huge block. 3:56 left to go, and already what Coach Aaron said, it's a battle in the paint between these two teams.
Well, both big men are very close in points per game, 14 and 15 points per game, and about 7-8 rebounds per game.
All the way back in the backcourt to Sampa, who brings it ahead for Pioneer. 3:53 left to go here in the first. 11-6, Pioneer with the 5-point lead. Solomon watching Sampa. Sampa screen from Mutinda, comes top of the key, now moves it to Freisteller on the near wing. Harrison takes it to the near elbow. Harrison dishes back. Now that grab, Freisteller with a shot from the free throw line off the back of the rim. Quickly the other direction is Silkworth into the near wing. That tipped back. Solomon gets it. Solomon avoids a diving Harrison. Dished off into the far corner. Now Brown has it on the far wing. Move back to Alquati. Back into the paint. That high off the glass. Falls off the far side of the rim. Powell with the rebound. Here comes Freisteller for Pioneer. Into the near corner for Harrison. 3:10 left to go here in the first. Freisteller thought about the three-pointer. Now back to Harrison on the near wing. Harrison dishes it off. Sampa for a three from way downtown. Wouldn't go off the back of the rim, front of the rim. That pulled down, put up by Mutinda and in. Mutinda with good effort. Skyline thought it went out of bounds. They backed off. Mutinda grabbed it before it could and put it up. 2:46 left to go. On the far sideline is Alquati. Alquati moves it over on the near wing to Solomon into the paint. That tipped away by Freisteller, but he gets called for the foul. Freisteller with his first foul. That is one foul on Pioneer, one foul on Skyline. There's a whole bunch of folks here, not only our amazing folks at the table with me, but We Love Ann Arbor in, as well as CTN and more. That underneath put up with the left hand and in. That basket by Roebuck, his first. As Pioneer quickly, Harrison for three. That off the backboard, pulled down, coming the other direction. Here comes Solomon over half court, 13-8. Pioneer with a 5-point lead. There is Solomon for three. That off the side of the rim, pulled down by Freisteller. Sampa over midcourt. Sampa over on the near wing. Sampa gets a screen from Freisteller. Steps back on the far sideline. Sampa over to Freisteller. Back to Sampa. Sampa comes to the P and Pioneer. Now works his way over. Bounce pass over to Strauss. Strauss gets it over to Treat. Treat to Freisteller. Now grabbed by Sampa on the near wing. Sampa dribbles to his right. Screen from Strauss at the free throw line. Into the near corner for Treat. Treat steps back. Gets it back to Sampa. Now Freisteller on the far wing. Good ball movement by Pioneer. Freisteller for three and nothing but net. Freisteller now with 5 points, and it's 16-8. Pioneer doubled up. Quickly up Brown. Off the glass and in. Good movement by Skyline to quickly get it ahead. Pioneer back in. Harrison over on the near wing. Freisteller top of the key, down on the far side of the paint. Freisteller picks up the dribble. Gets it back to Strauss on the far sideline. Over to Sampa. 1:11 left to go here in the first. 16-10. Pioneer up by 3. Solomon comes out to guard Sampa. Now Freisteller on the near wing. Freisteller gets it over to Strauss. Now on the far sideline, Treat trying to get it underneath. That's stolen away by Braybeck. Braybeck coming down the far sideline for Skyline. There's a three-pointer. That a little long by Roebuck. Now grabbed into the near corner. Silkworth with it, gets it back over to Solomon, top of the key. Solomon working his way down the near side of the paint. Puts it up. Solomon puts it in. Pretty finger roll. And it's 16-12, 4-point game. Treat for Pioneer. Has it on the far sideline. Back over to Sampa. 30 seconds left to go in the first. Harrison at the far elbow. Underneath to Strauss. Strauss gets it back to Freisteller for a three. Oh, that rims off the far rim. Here comes Skyline. Solomon moves it over on the near side. That one shot up, wouldn't go for Roebuck. Coming the other direction, Pioneer. Sampa with it. Sampa over half court, onto the near wing, 6 seconds left to go. Sampa down the paint, puts it up, off glass and in! Sampa has 6 points, beautiful finger roll off glass, and it's 18-12, Pioneer with a 6-point lead. What are you seeing in that first quarter, Coach?
I'm scrambling with notes. I'm telling you.
It is fast and furious, isn't it?
Man, it's a tough job. You put your head down, you're missing part of the game. But I got several comments on Sampa, man. He's doing what a good point guard should do, and he's got vision of the floor. He's reading the defense, and he's given his teammates patience to execute the offense they're running. And he's totaled 6 points. He's also got 3 assists and 2 steals. Man, those are great numbers for first quarter.
First quarter, that's a good.
Okay, so you add those 3 assists, that's 6 points. He's responsible for 2/3 of the team's points in this first quarter.
Absolutely.
And point guard for Skyline is doing a very, very good job too in the transition of attacking the rim.
Absolutely.
I like the way Skyline attacks the rim with a dribble. If it's not there, they go inside, outside with their offense.
8 minutes up on the clock, popping back in with his second quarter action. On the near wing here, Braybeck to inbound. Braybeck gets it over to Solomon in the backcourt. Sampa watching him. 18-12, Pioneer with the 6-point lead. Solomon over half court. Solomon over on the far sideline to Braybeck. Now Brown gets it. Braybeck again trying to get it back. Roebuck, forgive me. That off of a foot, out of bounds. Pioneers ball with 7:44 left to go. Powell and Mutinda back in. That gives Freisteller and Treat a breather as Sampa brings it ahead. Pioneer with good rotation, making sure that no one gets too tired. Mutinda has it, top of the key, moves it over to Powell. Now Strauss has it just off top of the key to the near side. Strauss hands it off to Mutinda with 7:30 left to go before halftime. Now Sampa on the far wing, over into the far corner to Weil. Fires it over to Mutinda, but a whistle. That is going to be a foul. Push in the back. Coleus picks up the foul, as that is his first. Ball, Sampa looking to inbound. Sampa skies it back to Mutinda on the far wing. Mutinda right into the paint, puts it up, off the rim, rattles around and home. Mutinda with 6 points, and Skyline inbounds. Here comes Solomon coming ahead, 20-12. Pioneer with the lead with 7:10 left to go. And Solomon on the near wing. Solomon comes top of the key, now over on the far elbow. Solomon on the far wing, Mutinda watching him. Over to Brown on the near wing. Back to Solomon. Solomon, top of the key. Solomon coming down, dishes it off to Brown. Brown to the free throw line. Mutinda with a hand in the face. That pulled down off the glass. Sampa has it coming the other direction. That'll add to his steals, assist, and now he has a rebound. Powell in the far corner. Back to Sampa. Now Lyle, top of the key. Lyle dribbles to his left down the near side of the paint. Lyle dribbles out of trouble on the near sideline over to Strauss. And there is going to be a whistle and a foul. That is going to be on Brown. Brown picks up his first foul. That is 2. 2 on Skyline, none so far on Pioneers. 6:33 left to go here in the second. Strauss to inbound, baseline left, gets it over to Sampa. Sampa just inside of half court. Now over to Strauss on the near wing. Strauss dribbles to his left, that kicked over to Lyle. Now trying to get to Powell from the free throw line. That off the back of the rim, wouldn't go for Powell. Coming the other direction, here comes Rademacher. Rademacher into the near corner as that's Coleus. Now getting it back to Roebuck. Roebuck on the near sideline, watched by Lyle. Roebuck dishes it off underneath. That put up and would not go by Silkworth, but a whistle. 6:05 left to go before halftime. That is going to be, I believe, on Sampa. We'll see.
But number 0, Morgan Lyle, is not playing another great defensive game. Coach Marion and I was talking about him. He usually comes off the bench. and he's putting pressure on the ball down here, and it's creating problems already offensively for Skyline.
Silkworth hits the first of two, trying to get it down to a 6-point game. You got to love those players who come off the bench and give you that defense, that spark. Huge in a rivalry game like this. Silkworth with the second bucket off the front of the rim. Harrison with the rebound. Here comes Pioneer. Speaking of Lyle, he brings it ahead over half court. Lyle on the near wing, hands it off to Harrison. Harrison over to Strauss, back to Harrison. Harrison on the far wing. Harrison gets it over to Powell, straight on. Powell off the back of the rim. Wouldn't go, but Powell down to the court. That is going to be a foul. That is 3 shots on number 3, so that's going to be Braybeck who picks up the foul. As now Powell to the line, shooting 3. First shot is up and good for Powell. You don't want to foul any of those three-point shooters, because if they're a little cold, hitting those free throws can definitely get them finding the range there.
Correct.
Second one up and good by Powell.
That's a defensive rule for us. We don't foul a 3-point field goal attempt.
Next one up, that third one off the back of the rim. As now it's 22-13, 9-point lead by Pioneer. Rademacher brings it ahead over half court. Rademacher picked up by Harrison. In on the near wing to Braybeck now, top of the key. On the far wing, Rademacher has it. That tipped away back in the backcourt. That was tipped away by Pioneer, so no over and back. Rademacher bringing it down the far sideline. Dishes it off to Roebuck. Roebuck over onto the near wing. That's sent over to Coleus. Fired for 3 by Roebuck off the rim. Foul underneath. We'll see what it is with 5:19 left to go here before halftime. Freisteller to check in. Lyle picks up his first foul underneath. Brown back in is Ellerson for Skyline. Skyline to inbound. As that over to Silkworth. Silkworth dribbling into paint, puts it up. Rattles home. Silkworth now with 3 points, and it's 22-15. 7-point lead by Pioneer. Lyle over half court, over to Freisteller, over to Powell on the far sideline. Harrison top of the key. Now to the near elbow. Harrison over to Lyle on the near wing. Screen from Freisteller. Lyle steps back, gets a little room to work. Dishes it off to Freisteller in the near corner. Freisteller, top of the key to Lyle, down the near side of the paint. Lyle dishes it underneath. Mutinda blocked from behind, coming the other direction. Here comes along. Brown puts it up, rattles it home. Brown from a beautiful pass from Silkworth. Brown puts it in. He has 4 points, and it's 22-17. 5-point lead for Pioneer. Harrison on the near wing, and timeout called. Or no, that's a foul. Forgive me, that's a second foul on Lyle. So that is 3 fouls on Pioneer, 3 fouls on Skyline here in this second quarter. 4:27 left to go. Rademacher over half court. Harrison watching him. Rademacher down on the far sideline. Dishes that off over to Silkworth. Back to Rademacher, putting it up and in. Rademacher with his first points of the game. He has 2, and it's a 3-point game. Lyle brings it in on the near wing. Hands it off, top of the key. Freisteller back to Harrison. Harrison, bounce pass underneath to Mutinda. Mutinda into the near corner for Lyle. Now Freisteller on the near wing. There's a shot straight on from the that put up by Freisteller. Harrison's shot tipped off to the side. Freisteller gets it, puts it up and in, and the foul.
That was a great rebound for Freisteller. He caught the ball high with 2 hands, kept the ball high, did not bring it down, and got a shot off and got fouled, gets to the line. That is a fundamental for big men, is to keep that ball high.
Free throw wouldn't go, as it's Pioneer 24, Skyline 19. On the far sideline with it is Ellerson. Ellerson trying to get it over to Braybeck. That's going to be a foul by Lyle. Lyle picks up his 3rd foul, as coach is going to have him sit down, bring Sampa in at the next whistle, and now Lyle will sit down. So Lyle with really good defense, but he gets called for 3 fouls, and he has to take a seat as it's Sampa, Harrison, Freisteller, Mutinda, and Powell in for Pioneer. That inbounded by Ellerson. Back in the backcourt, stolen by Powell. Powell has it on the far sideline, gets it over to Harrison. Harrison into the paint. Harrison trying to put it up and in. That knocked down. Here comes Skyline the other direction. Sampa trying to tip it. Pass over to Brown. That just out of his reach, out of bounds. Pioneer ball. That will be Pioneer to inbound on baseline right, I believe. No, that's going to be Skyline. Official, much better view of it than I had. That inbounded to Brown on the near wing. Brown comes top of the key. Freisteller watching him. Brown down the near side of the paint. Puts it up with the left hand. Wouldn't go. Rolls off the side of the rim. Here comes Sampa the other direction. 5-point lead for Pioneer. Sampa over half court for Pioneer. Sampa coming down the far side of the paint. Dishes it off to Powell on the far sideline. Now Freisteller top of the key. Freisteller hands it off to Harrison. Harrison at the free throw line. Into the paint. Harrison trying to get it. Sampa from the far corner. That three-pointer wouldn't go. Pulled down by Silkworth, and Skyline heads the other direction. Rademacher over half court. Rademacher bounce pass on the far sideline. Ellerson for 3. That rimmed out. Freisteller with it. Here comes Sampa down the far sideline. Timeout called, as that's Pioneer who wants to talk it over, as Pioneer had as much as a 6-point lead, but now it's down to a 5-point lead at 2:49. What are your thoughts, Coach? What is Skyline doing to be more competitive this last couple minutes?
Well, I think they've turned up the speed a little bit, the transition game. They're looking and get into that attack mode right away. And the defensive transition has to get back and play defense and not give them those shots in the paint. But what Skyline also does well, if it's not there, they go into a dribble attack offense, and they'll settle for a perimeter shot. But, yeah, they've went into the attack mode is the short answer, I guess.
Indeed. So, Coach wanted to talk things over on the sideline, and now Coach Marion sends the team out. Pioneer to inbound. Freisteller gets over to Sampa. Sampa over half court. Sampa comes top of the key over to Harrison on the near wing. Now Freisteller has it. Freisteller just off top of the key. Hands off to Harrison. Harrison dribbles to his left over to Sampa on the near wing. Sampa over to Freisteller on the near side of the paint. Freisteller dribbles into the paint. Freisteller spins, puts it up. Oh, tough luck, rims out. As Mutinda trying to tip it out. That goes out of bounds, but a foul. That is going to be Mutinda picked up the foul. That is the 5th foul on Pioneer. So that is going to put Skyline to the line. Next foul on Skyline will put Pioneer to the line. So both team in the what used to be the double bonus for the rest of the quarter. Brown to the line. So again, it has been a battle in the paint underneath. First shot by Brown off the back of the rim. Brown, opportunity to cut it to a 4-point game. Skyline in their dark black jerseys with the blue on the sides and the numbers. Second one is up and good by Brown. Brown has 5 points. It's 24-20. Pioneer with the 4-point lead. Sampa gets it back from Freisteller on the far sideline. Pioneer brings it down the far sideline. Sampa into the far corner. Gets it over to Mutinda, who crashes into the paint, puts it up as out of bounds to Skyline.
It was a nice aggressive move by Mutinda, and he split 2 defenders. Should have had a right-hand layup. He met some contact, but no foul called.
Indeed, Rademacher on the near wing. Thinking the same thing. Shot there. There's a 3-pointer by Rademacher. Rademacher now has 5, and it's a 1-point game, 24-23. Skyline has gotten it all the way down as Harrison has it at the top of the key. Harrison over to Freisteller on the near wing. Back over to Sampa. Sampa to the baseline. Now over to Freisteller on the near wing. Freisteller into the paint. Now over to Harrison on the far wing. Back to Freisteller, who puts it up. Freisteller, 3-pointer rimmed out. Rebound pulled down by pulled down by Ellerson coming the other direction. Rademacher to the baseline. Rademacher Gets it all the way back out to Brown. Brown on the far wing. Brown hands it back off to Rademacher. Rademacher being watched by Powell. Rademacher down to the baseline, stolen away by Powell. Here comes Pioneer. Mutinda coming down the far sideline, puts it behind his back and in. Mutinda makes it 8 points for him, and it's 26-23. Brown quickly the other way for Skyline. Into the paint, and off the rim, or off the glass, pulled down by Freisteller. Here comes Sampa. Sampa over half court. Onto the near wing is Harrison. Harrison underneath the Mutinda, who puts it up and in. Mutinda leads all scorers with 10 points, and it's 28-23. 5-point lead by Pioneer. Solomon brings it ahead for Skyline with 35 seconds left to go before halftime. Harrison sticking with him. Solomon with a couple shakes and bakes, but Harrison not buying it. Solomon coming along the far side. Solomon down the far side of the paint, and that's going to be a foul. That's going to be Mutinda picking up his second foul. So that will be the 6th foul for Pioneer. That puts Solomon to the line. Solomon trying to get it down to a 3-point game. First one up, rattles around and home for Solomon. He has 5 points, trying to get it to 6. Quadian for the Eagles. Solomon puts up, and that rims out. Strauss with the rebound. 22 seconds left to go. 28-24. Pioneer with a 4-point lead. Harrison over half court. Harrison on the near sideline. Harrison works his way onto the far sideline, down the far side of the paint. Harrison dishes it off. There's Freisteller from the free throw line. Wing goes. Strauss puts it up. Foul. And Strauss will go to the line with 1.8 seconds left to go as he earns himself 2 opportunities from the charity stripe. Okay, I hate the term charity stripe because it's not charity. You earn most of those when you get fouled.
Oh, yes, that's very true.
Strauss bends the knees, puts it up, and puts it in. First points for Strauss. He's going to try and make it 2. 29-24. Strauss has an opportunity to make it an even 30 for Pioneer and make it a 6-point game with 1.8 seconds left to go. Strauss, one more shot from the free throw line. Eyes the rim, puts it up. Off the back of the rim, pulled down by Pioneer. As that put up by Powell, and a whistle. The clock did not start. And that will do it, as that is the end of the first half. 29-24. Pioneer takes a 5-point lead into halftime, as they had a 6-point lead at the end of the first quarter, 5-point lead at the end of the second quarter. Real back and forth game there, and again, a war inside of the paint between all of them. A little bit of foul trouble for Pioneer. Lyle has 3, Mutinda with 2, but everyone else just has 1 on both Pioneer and Skyline. What are your thoughts about that first half there, Coach Ahrens?
Well, the difference in those 2 quarters there, as I mentioned earlier, second quarter, Skyline came out much more aggressively. They not only pushed the ball up the floor, they pushed the ball up the floor wisely, in my opinion. And the goal was to get, obviously, into the paint and get a high percentage shot. A couple notes for Pioneer is Mutinda, I think you mentioned, has 10 points, and 4 of them were in the last minute there. And again, they were 2 aggressive moves into the paint for basically a right-hand layup. I'm enjoying watching the big men in the paint. Right now, both teams are playing defensively behind the post. There's different ways to do that. Sometimes coaches will front or partial front or 3/4 front. Or what I like to do is just mix it up, keep the offense guessing. But it was impressive. Freisteller, at least once, I saw him at a low post, and the defense leaned on his left shoulder, and he read that, and he knew he had him leaning that way, so he spun away from the defense and got a good shot. So he's reading defenses and adjusting with his footwork to get a high percentage shot.
Indeed, excellent. It's been definitely a back and forth battle. You have a couple other stats there.
Yeah, let's look at the summary quickie stats accumulated by Andy Spencer. By the way, Mark, I copied these many years ago. It's an abbreviated form of the NBA.
Perfect. Excellent. That's fantastic.
The NBA gets these at every timeout in between the quarters, half, and the end of the game. But toe-to-toe for that first half, Pioneer out-rebounded Skyline 15-12. Both teams got to the line 6 times. Not shooting well at the line, but Pioneer has made 2, Skyline's made 3. Now the number I look at there is always the attempts. Everybody looks at made, but attempts, free throw attempts will tell you how aggressive a team is and they're attacking the rim. Turnovers about the same, Pioneer 5, Skyline 6. Points in the paint exactly the same, 18-18.
Absolutely.
Bench points, Skyline's got a little edge. Pioneers made a couple 3-pointers, and Skyline has 1.
So good stats there. And as we were going on that, you saw an excellent job by the cheer team as well. So they did a fantastic job. So it has been a good battle. Skyline keeping it. So Skyline 8-7, Pioneer 10-3, but Skyline making it a game here at Pioneer as it is a 5-point game at halftime. Want to do you make the call or anything else you want to talk about before that?
Yeah, and some basketball notice of some area teams.
Yeah. I love it.
Let's look at the boys first. This just came out yesterday by the Michigan Associated Press. Here's some local teams standings. Ann Arbor Huron is 10th in the state. Saline is like an honorable mention listing.
Yeah.
And Ypsilanti Lincoln is also honorable mention. Going to Division II, Chelsea is honorable mention, and so is Adrian. Division III for the boys, Jackson Lumen Christi is 5th with a 12-1 record. And Napoleon, which I hear from many sources, has a pretty good team this year's honorable mention. Division IV boys, Adrian Lenawee Christian is ranked 4th. And Britton Deerfield is an honorable mention. Let's go to the girls' side.
Yeah.
Division I. There's a lot of good teams. Up there. Locally, Jackson Northwest is ranked 9th. They're 10-1. Lowell is honorable mention. Temperance Bedford is honorable mention. Sure. Division II, Gabriel Richard is ranked number 1 in the state.
Wow.
Undefeated at 13-0. Chelsea has honorable mention there. Division III, Ypsi Arbor Prep. I saw them play 3 or 4 times last year. Have several good players and a small roster.
Yeah, they're amazing. What they do with a small bench is impressive. Very impressive.
Man. I saw them in a district championship game, I believe.
Yeah.
And they had 7 players dressed.
Unbelievable.
Also in Division, let's move to Division IV. The interesting story there, nobody locally but Mayo Asabo. Okay, they have a team of 7 or 8. You know Jay Smith, University of Michigan?
Yeah.
Okay, family related. The coach there has 8 players, and one of them's a wrestler, so she only comes to some of the practices.
Wow.
They came down here and played in the Detroit tournament about 3 weeks ago and won their games.
Wow.
And they practice with the boys every night. And their leading scorer is a freshman.
There you go.
I think she's 14 years old.
Unbelievable. That's fantastic. I don't think, give it a little bit more time, and Pioneers should be up in some rankings too. They have really made themselves out there, having beaten Huron and a battle with Saline. So, yeah.
Yeah, I would think so. Okay, you make the call, Mark. Got a simple one. Our first true and false, you usually have a multiple guess that you attempt.
Indeed.
A10 fouls B25. The official who made the ruling moves toward the reporting area. Head coach, it doesn't make any difference here what head coach, asks the free official for timeout. Momentarily thereafter, the scorer notifies the ruling official that A10 has fouled out. A10 must be replaced prior to the granting of the timeout request. Do you think this is true or false?
Ooh, that is a really, really good question. So we'll let you think about it a little bit. We'll play just a quick couple messages from the MHSAA. We'll do 2 of those. We'll do a quick scoreboard report, and then we will come back, and I will see if I can get that right. That is a very good question. We'll be right back here watching Pioneer Varsity Basketball, brought to you by Arbor Broadcasting, 29-24. Pioneer with the 5-point lead at the half.
Here are 5 more good reasons for multi-sport participation. Multi-sport athletes are more coachable. They have higher athletic ceilings. They become better talent in the long run. They have higher sports IQs. Their sports skills transfer, and they are better teammates. Multi-sport participation is cross-training for life. Learn more at the MHSAA website. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Can you go anywhere and find an endeavor in society where we've come to accept and tolerate an adult, and even kids, treating another adult the way we allow spectators, coaches, and players to treat a high school game official? Can you? No one has the right to abuse game officials. So before you blurt something out about that next close call, consider this. Without the officials, nobody wins. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
SEC scoreboard report back on January 29th. It was Skyline beating Dexter 68-53. On the 30th, it was Saline beating Skyline 57-52. Huron beat Dexter 64-34, and it was Monroe beating Ypsilanti Lincoln Ypsilanti Lincoln beating Monroe 52-41. On the first, Monroe beat Temperance Bedford by a score of 43-39. On the second, Pioneer beat Ypsilanti Lincoln 66-48 to avenge that loss. Dexter fell to Saline beating them 64-48. It was Huron beating Monroe 65-29, and Skyline beating Temperance Bedford 52-44. Back on the third, it was Huron beating Grand Rapids Northview by a point, 72-71. As we are coming back here, about 1 minute 30 seconds left to go. Let's quickly come over and take a look back at the You Make the Call. So let's read that one more time as I buy myself a few more moments to think about it and go in here.
Okay, this is a true or false. Here's a scenario for us. A10 fouls B25. The official who made the ruling moves toward the reporting area, which is a score table.
Yep.
Head coach asks the free official for timeout. Momentarily thereafter, the scorer notifies the ruling official that A10 has fouled out. A10 must be replaced prior to granting of the timeout request. You think that's true or false?
That is a good question. I'm going to say it's order of operations here. The score, I'll say true because he fouled out before the timeout was granted, so they'd have to replace him before the timeout. I'll say true.
It is true, Mark.
There you go. There you go. Excellent. I love these. Always learning more, and thank you for putting those together. Big.
And all 3 officials got this right in the pregame.
Excellent. Wonderful. Well, we know we're in good shape. The fan store right and left might not think so, but we are in good hands with a number of officials doing their best to keep us going. As we're about to start off the second half, Freisteller right in front of us to get things going. It is 29-24, Pioneer with the lead. Sampa has it coming down the far side for Pioneer. Sampa over half court. Sampa far sideline now, dishes off to Mutinda, top of the key, over to Powell. Sampa on the far sideline, right in front of Coach. Sampa gets it over to Harrison. Harrison underneath to Mutinda. Mutinda up, and that one just a little too strong. Mutinda trying to get the rebound. That pulled down by Brown. Here comes Skyline the other direction as Rademacher has it for the Eagles over half court. Rademacher gets over to Solomon. Solomon right on the block. A's Pioneer, by the way, going right to left. Skyline right to left. Pioneer left to right. as Solomon comes top of the key, gets a screen from Silkworth. Passes off to Silkworth. Silkworth down the baseline, trying to get into the paint. Silkworth turns, spins, wouldn't go. And that pulled down by Alquati, back out, top of the key. Now trying to race down is Solomon. Into the near corner for Rademacher for three. That off the rim, tipped by Brown. Brown gets it back. Rebound by Skyline into the near corner. Rademacher tries the three-pointer again, and this time he buries it as he has 8 points, and it is 29-27, 2-point game. Harrison for Pioneer has it down into the paint to Mutinda. Mutinda back out to Harrison in the far corner. Harrison puts up a two. That off the near side, the far side of the rim, pulled down. Here comes Skyline the other direction. Solomon comes over half court. Solomon has Sampa in front of him. Solomon at the block A's, bounce pass over to Silkworth. He loses that. Diving on it is Harrison. He causes the tie up. That will be a jump ball. Possession arrow favors Skyline, so that'll go back over to the Eagles. 6:25 left to go here in the third. As Solomon gets it in the backcourt for Skyline. Skyline trying to get a tie game or a 1-point lead, depending on if it's a 2 or 3-pointer. Bounce pass over to Silkworth at the far elbow. Silkworth now thought about trying to get to Rademacher. Silkworth steps back, shoots, and there is a whistle. Mutinda's going to pick up the foul. That is Tyler Mutinda's third foul. First foul of the half or of the quarter for Pioneer. That puts Silkworth to the line with an opportunity to tie up the game. Silkworth eyes the rim, puts it up, and puts it in. Silkworth with 6 points, trying to make it, or excuse me, 4 points, trying to make it 5. Mutinda goes out with 3 fouls. He'll get to sit. As that shot up and in by Silkworth. As here comes, coming down the far side, is Sampa tied up, knotted up at 29 apiece. Sampa on the far sideline. Strauss was the one who came in to replace Mutinda. Strauss at the top of the key. Gets it over to Powell. Powell over to Freisteller on the far sideline. Back over to Sampa. Sampa right in front of his own bench. Sampa gets a screen from Strauss. Sampa fires it as that rims out. Trying to get it back. Rademacher with the ball. Solomon has it. Solomon steps back. Gets it over to Silkworth on the near wing. Silkworth back over, then fired on the far sideline to Solomon. Solomon at the free throw line gets it to Rademacher for 3. That's skied up as that'll be pulled down, and that is going to be a foul on Silkworth. And Freisteller thought Silkworth would go over the back. 5:23 left to go here in the third. All knotted up at 29 apiece. Here comes Sampa, hands it off on the far sideline to Harrison. Harrison gets it over to Freisteller, back to Harrison. Harrison, top of the key. Harrison now steps back over to Freisteller, right in front of his own bench. Freisteller, screen from Strauss. Sampa over to Strauss. Strauss puts it up and puts it in for 3. Huge three-pointer for Strauss. He has 4. And it's 32-29. Solomon has it in the front court for Skyline. Solomon looking for a screen from Silkworth. Solomon down the far side of the paint, puts it into the far corner. That put up off the rim, pulled down by Freisteller. Here comes Pioneer. 3-point lead with 4:35 left to go in the third. Harrison on the far sideline. Harrison gets it over to Powell. Powell, there's going to be a foul as he got caught between 2 defenders. Alquati picks up the foul. Inbounded by Sampa over to Freisteller. Freisteller into the paint. Freisteller picks it up. That blocked out of bounds by Silkworth. That's at least Silkworth's second block. Pioneer to inbound. Baseline right. 32-29 is the score. Sampa Gets it over to Freisteller on the near wing. Freisteller working against Silkworth. Over to Strauss. Back over to Sampa on the near wing. Sampa dribbles to his left. Top of the key. Sampa over. Gets it to Freisteller in the paint. Now Strauss for three. Strauss hits it. 2 3-pointers in a row. And Strauss is on fire. He has 7. And it's 35 to 29. Quickly the other direction. Brown puts it in as the basket counts for Brown. Strauss picks up the foul. That's his first. Now Brown to the line to try and get it back to a 3-point game, 35 to 31. Brown to the free throw line. He bends the knees, puts it up, puts it in. Brown now has 8 points, as that's a tie for the game lead with for Skyline. Over on the far sideline, Mutsinda leads all scorers with 10. Strauss, top of the key, bounce pass over on the near wing to Powell. Powell gets it over to Harrison. Harrison dribbles in, that off the rim, coming the other direction, knocked away by Sampa. Sampa to Strauss, up with the finger roll and in. Strauss puts it in with the left hand, and Strauss now has 9. Skyline quickly the other direction. Pioneer 37, Skyline 32. Into the paint, that put up and in by Solomon. Solomon making his way to the paint. He has 7, and it's 37-34. Pioneer with the 3-point lead. Sampa over half court, over to Freisteller, back to Sampa. 2 players looking to come in for Skyline at the next whistle. Sampa on the far wing, over to Strauss, back to Sampa. Sampa on the near wing, down to the baseline. Sampa dishes it up in a finger roll and in. Sampa now has 8 points. Quickly the other direction. Here comes Skyline as Ellerson has it on the far wing. Pioneer with a 5-point lead, 39-34. 2:44 left to go here in the third. As working his way, Alquati drifts it off into the near corner. Brown with it down the baseline. Brown into the paint. Puts up a hook with the left right hand, and it goes in. Brown now has 10 points. 39-36, 3-point lead by Pioneer. Freisteller over to Sampa. Sampa for Pioneer in the front court working against Solomon. Screen from Strauss. Sampa moves it over to Freisteller into the far corner for Harrison. Harrison, side of the paint. He picks up his dribble, skies it over. Sampa gets it. Now Sampa comes top of the key. Sampa over on the far wing, trying to work against Brown, moves it over. Strauss for 3, that off the rim. Freisteller with the rebound. Now Strauss gets the rebound, wouldn't go. That popcorned up and pulled down by Skyline. Coming down the far side is Solomon. Solomon over to Silkworth, who puts it up and in. Silkworth drove to the rim, put it in. He has 7 points. It's a 1-point game with 1:40 left to go here in the third, 39-38. Freisteller back over to Sampa. Sampa on the near wing. Sampa working against Solomon. Gets the screen. Sampa near sideline over to Harrison. Harrison down the paint. Harrison dishes it off to Powell. Back to Sampa. Sampa thought about the 3-pointer. Over to Harrison. Harrison now gets a screen from Strauss. Harrison into the paint. Puts it up. Wouldn't go off the front of the rim. Silkworth with the rebound. Now coming ahead with it is Ellerson. Back over to Solomon on the far sideline. Solomon steps back for Skyline. 1 minute, 8 seconds left to go in the third. 1-point game. Skyline an opportunity to take their first lead of the game. They are inside of half court. Solomon bounce passes it over on the far sideline to Ellerson. Alquati. Brown now over to Solomon on the near wing. Bounce pass underneath. That put up. As that is going to be Alquati picking up, drawing the foul. Michael Powell gets the foul. Alquati. Chance to take the lead. First shot is up and good. He has 5 points. 39-39 with 49.9 seconds left to go. Alquati with his second one. That one wouldn't go. Strauss with the rebound. We're all knotted up with 46 seconds left. Sampa brings ahead for Pioneer over half court. Sampa on the far sideline, being watched by Rademacher. Sampa. Now, 35 seconds left to go. Gets it to Strauss, top of the key. Over to Powell. Powell over to Freisteller. Far sideline for Sampa. Sampa Well, gets a screen from Strauss, comes top of the key. Sampa working against Ellerson. Sampa letting the clock go down. Pioneer playing for the last point. Looks like now, maybe not. Sampa back over to Freisteller on the near wing. Back to Sampa. 12 seconds left to go in the third. Sampa, screen from Strauss. Sampa on the near wing. Sampa bounce pass over to Strauss, and Strauss put it up. Beautiful pass by Sampa on a give and go. And it is that up and no basket by Skyline. Pioneer has the lead, 41-39. Skyline battled back, got it tied, but Pioneer able to put in a basket. Beautiful dishes. Strauss made the screen, handed it to Sampa, rotated to the basket. Sampa found him, and that is the lead for Pioneer. Your thoughts on a tightly contested third quarter there?
Oh, that was a great note. What you just said, Sampa was patient, and he made the play work, and that was a big bucket. Was there about 2 seconds on the clock?
Absolutely, yeah.
Right now, Sampa's got, how many points do you have him for?
He has 8 points.
Okay. Let's see. Oh, I'm sorry. He has 10 points in the third quarter.
So Sampa really coming up and making some things happen there.
Yeah.
He has been doing fantastic.
Right. Man, this is going to come down to the final minute, I think, Mark.
Indeed, absolutely.
It goes back and forth, and Skyline is sticking to their game plan. There's a physicality in the paint. And this is one of those classic, I know you hear it all the time, whatever team wants it the most is probably going to end up on top here.
Absolutely. 2 players in foul trouble for Pioneer. Lyle with 3 and Mutinda with 3. Strauss has it. Bounce pass over to Freisteller. Freisteller makes this into the paint. That's knocked away from behind. That is going to be a foul. That's going to put, they're going to say that was in the act of shooting. That puts Freisteller to the line. Nope, they will say that's going to be the second foul. Couldn't see, I think that was Brown. The Pioneer student section really on fire. Lee hands it off to Sampa. Sampa down the near sideline, dishes it off. Lee puts it up and in. Lee with 2 points, now coming ahead. Here comes Rademacher over half court, 43-39. Pioneer with the lead. Rademacher at the far point. Rademacher down, puts it up off glass. Lee with the rebound, gets it over to Sampa. Sampa brings ahead, 7:22 left to go. Lyle back in the game at the far wing, now over on the near wing. Strauss gets it over to Freisteller. Freisteller at the baseline now, comes side of the paint, moves it over. Strauss for 3, and off the rim, pulled down. Lyle with the rebound. That's going to be over the back. That is going to be on Roebuck. Roebuck with his first foul, second foul on Skyline. Sampa to inbound, baseline right. Silkworth comes back in as well as Brabeck. Sampa on the baseline, bounce pass trying to get to Lee. Lee pulls it up. Good job by Lee. He bounces into the paint, puts it up and in. Lee with 4 points. That after Lee had 10 in the JV game. Silkworth has it on the near wing. It's 45-39. Pioneer by 6. Ellerson for 3. That rims out. Sampa with the rebound. Sampa quickly ahead to Strauss. Strauss in the paint. Puts up the finger roll and in. Strauss has 13 points. And Skyline with the timeout. They want to talk it over as Pioneer starts off with 6 straight points to start off the fourth.
Well, Lee's doing a great job coming off the bench, points and rebounds, and they're working harder right now, and that's Skyline's going to talk about it and see what adjustments can be made. Still a lot of time with 6:36 to go.
What a benefit to have a tall player who can go in the paint like Lee, able to come off the bench when you've had another few folks. It's really a help to be able to have him come in and jumpstart that a little bit.
Oh, exactly. And I mentioned Lee coming off the bench, but he's not the only one. In the second half, Pioneer has 16 bench points from various players.
Wow, that's a lot contributions from a lot of players. That's great. Love to see it. Everyone talking it over. Skyline trying to get some things figured out. It's 6:36. They had this game tied twice in the third. Pioneer starts off the fourth with a 6-point run. It is Sampa, Strauss, Lee, Freisteller, and Lyle in for Pioneer. Lyle with 3 fouls. Mutinda on the bench with 3 fouls. 6:35 left to go as Solomon brings it over, coming down the near side. That into the near corner, put up, that rimmed, trying to pull it down, grabbed down by Silkworth. As now with it, Solomon has it. Solomon, top of the key. Solomon at the near elbow, steps back. Brown has it on the far sideline. Brown coming down into the paint, dishes it off into the near corner. Three-pointer up and in, as that was Brabeck with his first points of the game. 6:03 left to go here in the fourth, 47-42. Sampa on the far sideline, hands it off to Lau. Now coming over on the near wing, Lyle. Loses the ball, gets it back. Lyle down into the paint, picks up the dribble, bounce pass. Lee up and in. Great find by Lyle to get a cutting lead, and it's 49-42. Pioneer with the lead. Brown ahead for Skyline on the far side of the paint. Bounce pass over to Brown, now to Solomon on the P for Pioneer. Solomon just inside of the block. Ace comes over on the far wing. Solomon calling off signals. 5:28 left to go. Solomon driving into the paint. Now Solomon gets it over. Coming down, Brabeck over to Brown. Brown, top of the key. Over to Silkworth on the far wing. 5:18 left to go. On the far sideline, here comes Roebuck. Roebuck bounce pass. That goes through Silkworth. As I'm not sure if Silkworth knew that was coming. Goes out of bounds. Pioneer's ball. 49-42. 5:12 left to go. Pioneer with the 7-point lead.
I think that turnover was caused by team defense. Not just one player, 5 of them, and that it resulted in a bad pass.
Absolutely. Lee has it over to Freisteller. Freisteller over to Strauss. Now Sampa on the far sideline. Pioneer taking their time. Good patience. Sampa works it over to Freisteller on the far wing. Freisteller to the far elbow into the paint. Puts it up. That block, but that should be a goaltend. As that is a goaltend, Freisteller gets the points. So 9 points for Freisteller, 51-42. As that ball starts to come down, you can't knock that. As coming ahead with it, here comes Skyline. Rademacher over half court. Rademacher, that's timeout called. Skyline wants to talk it over. As Skyline has scored 3 after halftime, but Pioneer has scored 10. And Pioneer trying to keep this going with 139 left to go. What's the key to keeping this lead for Pioneer? What do they need to do to win this remaining 5 minutes?
Well, there's several factors. Probably the most important, though, is we say protect the ball. Take care of the ball. We don't want to turn – costly turnovers can turn into really quick points. And I always stress with my players, every free throw is important in a game, but when it comes down to the final couple minutes, we actually even keep stats for the last half of the fourth quarter, the last 4 minutes. And one of the stats we emphasize is free throw shooting. We call the last 4 minutes, that's pressure free throw shooting.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
You know, that's different than in the first quarter, in the first minute of a game. So I think those 2 items.
As that will become huge right now. The fouls, Skyline has 2, Pioneer none. When a team commits 5 fouls, that puts the other team shooting 2 free throws from the stripe. As on the far side, Brabeck to inbound. 4:39 left to go here in the fourth. Pioneer by 9, 51-42. Brilliant battle between these two crosstown rivals. Rademacher has it in the backcourt, being watched by Lyle. Lyle knocks it away. Rademacher gets it back. Lyle, blanket coverage. Rademacher trying to get it into Silkworth. There's going to be a foul. That is going to be on Lee. Lee has his first foul. First foul by Pioneer in the half, or in the quarter. As Solomon gets it to Silkworth and gets it back. Solomon into the paint. Dishes it off on the far side. And Brabeck gets it over on the near wing to Rademacher. Rademacher Works his way around the arc into the near corner. Bounce pass to Silkworth on the baseline. Silkworth, knocked away by Lee. 4:14 left to go. That'll be Skyline with the inbound pass on the baseline left.
That's what I'm talking about with Morgan Lyle. He has that intensity, and that's another stat we keep. It's a deflection.
Absolutely.
But he's playing very good man-to-man defense right now.
You force Skyline to reset up their entire offense at that point. Rademacher bounce pass to the near elbow over to Silkworth, hands it off to Brayback. Brayback steps back, now over Rademacher for three. Rademacher hits it. That is his third three-pointer of the game. He has 11 points. 51-45, 6-point lead for Pioneer. As there is a timeout called. Trying to take a look. Rademacher has 3 3-pointers. Braybeck has 1. Pioneer on the other side, 2 by Strauss and 1 by Freisteller and 1 by Harrison. So 3-pointers all around. But that's something that Skyline's been really comfortable shooting, especially Rademacher. That could come in huge to play in this late fourth quarter.
Exactly, yes. They are more than comfortable. I think that's part of their design, is to get the ball up the floor. And Coach mentioned in the pregame, we must make open shots. And what he means by that, obviously, is whether it's a three or something in the paint, we got to make those open shots.
Pioneer needs to watch. If they collapse on the paint, they could just dish it out to an open Rademacher, and that could be an issue coming down here with 3:49 left to go in the first. 51-45, Pioneer up by 3. Trying to maintain the lead and beat Skylines. Sampa double-teamed right at the half court. Skies it over to Lyle on the near wing. Lyle double-teamed again. Skyline rotating coverage. Back to Lyle. Lyle now crashing down into the paint. Back to Sampa. Sampa. Double team comes to half court. Back over to Lyle. Lyle dribbling. Picks up the dribble. Bounce pass to Lee. Lee into the paint. Puts it up. That spins off the rim. Lee gets it back. Freisteller trying to tip it, but Skyline with the rebound. Here comes Solomon the other direction for Skyline. Solomon steps back. Moves over to Rademacher into the near corner. And ball working its way around is Braybeck. Back to Rademacher. 3:08 left to go. Rademacher now driving to lane. Dishes it off. Silkworth now. There's a long three-pointer. That one grabbed by Freisteller and bringing it back as that was Solomon for 3. Coming down the baseline, Lyle bounce pass over to Sampa. Sampa for 3. Sampa hits the three-pointer. Sampa with his first three-pointer. That's 11 points for him. 54-45. Pioneer with the lead, 9-point lead. Solomon has it for Skyline in the front court. Gets it over to Braybeck on the far sideline. Powell watching him. Braybeck bounce pass over to Silkworth. Good job to avoid Mutinda. That coming down, put up and off the side. Mutinda gets it over to Sampa. Sampa brings it ahead for Pioneer at the near elbow. Splits the shot up off the back of the rim. Wouldn't go. That pulled down. Coming ahead with it is Brown for Skyline. Brown far ahead over to Solomon. Solomon bounce pass underneath. Silkworth puts it up and in. He has 9 points, and it is 54-47. 2 minutes and 3 seconds left to go here in the fourth. It is a 7-point game. Sampa over to Freisteller. That tipped away and stolen back away by Sampa. Great job to get in front of Rademacher. Now coming ahead. That tipped away by Lyle, or tipped away from Lyle. That will be Pioneer's ball, baseline right. Pioneer, I believe, called the timeout. They want to talk it over with 1 minute 49 seconds left to go.
Well, that's very good basketball with Sampa hitting that 3 and less than a minute. He hits a 3, and that's a big steal. Pioneer has a ball, I believe, on the sideline. Did you notice?
I think it's going to be baseline right, but
okay.
Yeah.
So the clock right now is enemy to Skyline. They want to just chip away. There's still a lot of time.
Absolutely. 1 minute 49 seconds. Neither team is really in foul trouble at this point. 1 foul by Pioneer, 2 on Skyline at this point. What are the coaches, as a coach, what would you be telling your players in the huddle right here with in this point in the game?
For Pioneer, I would say, let's take our time. And again, we gotta protect the ball,
Sure.
take care of the ball.
Sure, yeah.
If you're not 100% confident you can make that inside pass, don't. You know, we have no shot clock here. We'll just be patient. I usually spread out my offense, and that way that spreads out the defense.
Sure, yeah.
Hopefully with an opportunity to get a high percentage, like a layup or something in the paint.
Fantastic. Sampa, baseline right, ready to bring it in. Sampa gets it over on the far sideline to Lyle. Lyle bounce pass over to Sampa. Sampa on the far sideline, back to Lyle. Lyle back over to Sampa just inside of half court. Sampa dishes it off to Lyle. Lyle dribbling to his left, bounce pass back to Sampa. Sampa working his way in, gets it back to Lyle, top of the key, as that's a collision and a foul. As who is that? Is that Brown who got tangled up with him? It is. So Brown picks up the foul. That is his, said second. I thought it was his third foul, but the score table's a lot more correct than I am. 30-second timeout called by Skyline. 1:32 left to go.
I'm sure Coach Hamilton is saying it looks like they're gonna be very patient. We're going to have to come out and play a tighter man-to-man. Maybe look for some double team opportunities. Maybe try to steer the ball to a corner or to the sideline and force a turnover.
Looks like Skyline is trying to do a double team, but it's a little slow coming over at times. It's line stop and Lyle to kind of get that pass back and forth, as it's been predominantly them handling it out in the midcourt area. Pioneer's been able to keep everyone else down low, looking for an open opportunity. 1 minute, 32 seconds left to go here in the fourth. 54-47, 7-point lead by Pioneer. They'd love to get it back to 9. Skyline looking for a big steal here. Freisteller into Sampa. Sampa in the backcourt. Braybeck watching him now. Braybeck gets off Sampa. Underneath, over to Powell. Powell up and in. Beautiful assist by Sampa. 1 minute, 19 seconds left to go. 56-47, 9-point lead by Pioneer. As on the far wing with it is Rademacher. Rademacher gets it over to Braybeck down the near side of the paint. Braybeck. That knocked away by Lyle. He ends up going out of bounds, but beautiful job to force Skyline to reset with 1 minute, 4 seconds left to go. Robeck and Ellerson in for Skyline. That'll give Brown a breather. For Pioneer, it is Lyle, Powell, Freisteller, Mutinda, and Sampa, and timeout called by Skyline. No more timeouts for Skyline. Do you ever worry about calling timeouts too early as a coach, not having any of the last minute, or is it you just use them when you got them and you don't really worry about it too much?
But not when you're behind.
Yeah.
When you're behind, you got to make some adjustments. Sometimes a timeout's good. Sometimes you got a good point guard that communicates, or a team that communicates well.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't have to use that timeout. But I've done the other extreme too. I've called a timeout, then another timeout, because I felt in that 60 seconds my team did not comprehend what I was saying.
Sure, yeah.
And let's review this again.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's only happened a couple times in my career, but timeouts are valuable, and it depends on your player personnel.
Indeed. Well, Skyline has talked things over. They're ready to hit back. They're down by 7 with 1:04 left to go. Skyline to inbound. They get it into Silkworth. Silkworth back over to Roebuck. Roebuck over into the far corner, as that's Rademacher into Silkworth. Silkworth puts it up with the finger roll. That wouldn't go. Off the glass. Pulled down by Mutinda. Big rebound there. Here comes Sampa down the far sideline. Pioneer up by 9. Freisteller with it. Back to Sampa. Pioneer in no hurry. The double team comes. Bounce pass over to Powell in the far corner. Powell gets over to Freisteller. Over to Lyle. Now Mutinda puts it up off the glass. That rolls in. Mutinda now has 12 points. as it's 58-47. Here comes a shot by Ellerson. Ellerson with three. Ellerson with his first points, but those are huge three-pointer. It's an 8-point game with 20 seconds left to go. Lyle fouled as he brings it up court, and now for Pioneer, it's all about hitting your free throws, as that's 4 fouls on Skyline. Skyline will probably foul Pioneer one more time, and they'll go to the line. As Freisteller gets it over to Sampa. Sampa fouled. That will put Sampa to the line. He is a good free throw shooter.
Matinda just hit, you said, the 12th point, and that's what he's averaging this year. So he's right at his mark.
And that's with having sat for a while with foul trouble. And put up and rolls around. Would not go for Sampa. Hit every part of the rim, but not the net. 15.7 seconds left to go. 58-50. Sampa trying to make it a 9-point game here. That up and good for Sampa, as he has 12 points. Beautiful game by him. Here comes Rademacher. Rademacher puts it back over to Roebuck. Roebuck into the far corner. There's a long three-pointer by Ellerson. Wouldn't go. Pulled down by Silkworth. 3 seconds left. Dished off into the near corner, and that will do it. Pioneer wins 59-50. Pioneer able to go to 11-3 with a huge matchup at Skyline coming up, or at Saline coming up on Friday. So that will be a huge matchup as we take a look as we get our final stats tallied, and we really appreciate Andy's help there. What are your final thoughts?
Man, one word, Sampa. I'm telling you. I made some note. At 2:47 is when he hit that three.
Yeah.
And I just had that feeling that could be a momentum changer here. That could be a key factor. A few seconds later, he's got a steal at 1:49. And at 1:20, he's got a big assist. Then I think it was 15 seconds ago, he hits a free throw.
Absolutely.
So he contributed in many ways there. And again, that Morgan Lyle, I think, does a lot on defense, does a lot that's not in the statistic book, and gave Skyline trouble. Coach Marion said in the pregame defense was very important. And they've been averaging giving up 44. That's got to be. I told him I'm impressed with that number more than any
absolutely.
other. And he didn't even realize it was that low. And he is a defensive coach. He said, same thing. If you can play defense, you can stay in any game.
Absolutely.
And he gave up 50 tonight, 6 over the average, but they scored 59, a 9-point difference there. Looking forward to see the rebound battle, because Coach Hamilton, his number one concern was the rebounds, offense and defense.
Yeah, as a big fan of the old Bad Boys and the Going to Work Pistons, I absolutely love defense, as that was something that was huge.
Back to Sampa, Andy just gave us the game totals for him. He ended up with 7 assists and 4 steals.
Wow.
So he, like I said, he contributed in many different ways. For the second half rebounds, Pioneer out-rebounded them 14-9.
Huge.
And free throws, Pioneer only got there twice, made 1. Skyline was 4 of 5, shot 80% at the line. Turnovers, 11 for Pioneer, 10 for Skyline. Points in the paint, 20 for Pioneer, 10 for Skyline.
Huge in the second, yeah.
Bench points, 18 for Pioneer, only 3 for Skyline. That's a big number there.
Absolutely.
That's a 15-point difference.
Total team play, yeah,
And,
absolutely.
Pretty balanced in the 3-point field goals. Pioneer made 3, Skyline 2. But Coach Hamilton wanted to win the rebound war, and he fell a little short in that statistic.
Speaking of points from the paint, the leading scorer of all scores was Strauss, who came in from the paint. He had 13 and a couple huge timely three-pointers there. I want to thank Coach Aarons as well as Andy Spencer for all their work. Thank you very, very much. For my camera person, James Wiseman, this is Mark Wiseman. We will be back on Wednesday with some Pioneer women's hockey as well as the Michigan Coaches Show. Thank you, gentlemen. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. Pioneer wins 59-50. They beat Skyline and move to 11-3. Have a great night, everybody.